You're listening to the Intuitive Souls podcast. I am your host, Sarah Caruso, and this podcast is designed to educate, inspire, and enlighten. Let's wake up together. Hey guys, and welcome to the podcast. So today is going to be a solo episode, and I want to talk to you guys about my why and why I'm doing this and why I'm putting myself out there and just kind of owning my shit, you know? It is something that this is a long time coming. Like, definitely been subconsciously blocking this for at least 14 years, and it is time for me to speak my truth and tell you guys why I'm doing this, why I'm not holding back, and why I'm allowing myself to help others along their journey. So this is definitely going to be a very, very vulnerable thing for me to do. This is not something that I talk about openly with a lot of people, so it's kind of crazy that I'm talking through a microphone right now, talking to a bunch of people that I don't know is going to resonate with my story or whatever, but yeah, I mean, here goes nothing. So before we even start, I wanted to, do the essential oil, the crystal, and the card of the week. So the card of the week I pulled from the Goddess Guidance cards by Doreen Virtue, and I pulled the Butterfly Maiden card, and it is a beautiful card, and it's all about transformation, and it says, you are experiencing enormous change right now, which brings great blessings. Which is awesome. Awesome. I'm so pumped. I love when I resonate with the card too, and I'm sure that there's someone listening that is going through change right now who is scared as hell, and just know that this is a beautiful sign that you are being guided and you are protected and you are on the right path. So for the essential oil of the week, I decided to go with Manuka because I've been actually using it, and I actually, I'm cheap as hell, but I bought some Manuka honey, and oh my god, the benefits are amazing. But anyway, that was definitely off track, but I want to talk about Manuka oil. So it's all about being upheld. Manuka is a powerful plant given as a gift to the earth to heal and bless humanity. It carries a unique energy signature that raises the vibration of those who are blessed to come into contact with it. The purpose of Manuka are multifaceted, each part adding its mission to its divine whole. Manuka's primary message is to remind individuals that they are known by the divine. Like every flower and sparrow, each person is known, loved, and cared for. Manuka invites the heart to open the gifts and blessings bestowed daily in abundance and to live in states of gratitude and wonder. Ooh, I love that. I love that. I'm sure that these properties and all of this goes with, using Manuka honey as well. If you don't use Manuka honey, definitely look it up. It's absolutely phenomenal. I do believe that it is like a superfood, but just be minded, it's really expensive too. But anyway, Manuka is like one of my new favorites. It's not really, I don't want to the smell of it is like, it's not like, oh, it's so good. It smells like kind of like woody honey. I don't know another way to put it, but it's definitely worth looking into. And the crystal that I chose for this week is sodalite. So sodalite is this beautiful stone. It's like this beautiful indigo color. It unites logic with intuition and opens spiritual perception, bringing information from the higher mind down to the physical level. This stone stimulates the pineal gland and the third eye and deepens meditation. When in sodalite-enhanced meditation, the mind can be used to understand the circumstances in which you find yourself. This stone instills a drive for truth and an urge toward idealism, making it beautiful to remain true to yourself and stand up for your beliefs. So for some reason, I've kind of just like when I've been starting to meditate, I guess I'm at a point in my life where I didn't even know this, guys, first off, which is crazy. I always, before I go and meditate, I always just pick a stone or two, intuitively, the ones that I'm drawn to, and then I'll meditate with them. But I've been picking sodalite for, I want to say like the last week or so, right? And all the stuff, guys, all the stuff. I'm telling you, because I'm at a point where it's like, my logical mind needs some inspiration and some spiritual guidance. So it's just so crazy when we trust our intuition, just what comes and how just it's exactly what we need. So definitely check out sodalite and manuka. And yeah, so drum roll please. This is, oh God, I'm ready for it. I'm definitely ready for it. But this is my story, my why I'm doing this, why I'm creating content to help people, to inspire people, to help people grow, to push people to higher limits, okay? So if you already don't know, I hired 2 coaches, and the first thing when you go into a coaching program, most likely, this is just, this is not a definite, is that you always need to know your ideal soulmate client, and they really want you to find your ideal soulmate client, which I always kind of knew who my ideal soulmate client was. But then they also want you to know, what is your why? What is your driving force behind your business? And for so many healers and for so many intuitives, the first thing that comes to mind, 9 times out of 10 is what? I just want to help people. I just want to help people, right? That's like the healer's code. So that was my first why. But then again, if you really think about that, who doesn't want to help people? Everyone goes in business to help someone in some way, shape, or form. So that's kind of a bullshit, excuse my language, that's kind of a bullshit excuse. You need to go deep down inside yourself and figure out, what is your driving force? What is making you wake up in the morning? What is making me, hit record on my podcast? What is making me type, all these vulnerable posts on Instagram and Facebook? So when I was doing this lesson, I was like, God, what is my why? I don't know. Like, I have no clue. And I just kind of put it out there. I set the intention that I was going to take time, and I just said, I need to know my why. And it wasn't until a couple hours later that I guess I was in a receptive mode, and bam, I just got this massive download of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And what drives me to be the person that I am today, and what is driving me to be, growing into the next level version of myself. And the truth is I was bullied. I was bullied from the time of 7th grade up until 12th grade. It was bad. It was really bad. It wasn't just like, one thing and it died down, and this was to the point of harassment. I graduated high school in 2005, so I went through school before the time that, cyberbullying and bullying, started to get really bad, and school started putting in no tolerance policy. And so the abuse that I got from my peers was it was bad. it was really bad. I mean, in 7th grade, I remember I went to my locker and I opened it and there was a letter shoved in it and it said, "Kill yourself, you brace-faced ugly bitch." And I remember it vividly. And I remember turning to the right and seeing a bunch of girls laughing their ass off while I looked at this note. And this was in 7th fucking grade. 7th grade. This is how cruel some people can be, even at such a young age. And, that was just in 7th grade. And then, as I got older and it got worse, it got worse to the point where there were such horrible rumors spread about me and people were just making my life a living hell that the school that I was going to and my parents decided to pull me out. It wasn't, which was not the right decision at the time, but at this time, I don't think the school systems knew how to handle this kind of behavior. And it was just easier to take the child who was receiving the abuse out and putting them into a different, section or a different school than actually talking and fixing the problem. And this is, that's what happened. In 8th grade, I was pulled out of school and I went to a different alternative school, and that wasn't even any better because the alternative school is basically for the bullies or the kids that, can't seem to function in mainstream schooling. And so that didn't really help my situation. And this went on for years. I would, get the courage to go back to mainstream schooling, and then shit hit the fan again, and then I would leave again, and then I would come back, and this was my life. This was my life from the age of 14 years old to 18 years old, just back and forth in different schools, not with the best people, because when I was in my mainstream school, I was ridiculed, I was bullied. And then when I was at a different alternative school, I was bullied and I was with a bunch of, juvenile delinquents for the most part. So my life was kind of a shit show at this point. My upbringing was a shit show. And it wasn't, my parents, and I'm not placing any blame on my parents or anything. My parents did the best they could. And, the school system at the time, like I said, this was way before social media. This was way before the epidemic of bullying. So nobody knew what to do. Nobody knew how to handle the situation. And, it was spun out of control. Like my life was spun out of control to the point where the bullying was so bad that my self-esteem just got lower and lower. I fell into depression. There were times where I felt so low. I had not one friend in the world. I had not anyone to push me to believe in myself. I didn't have anybody. I had no one. Like I said, my parents did the best they could, but I think I just needed someone in my corner. I just needed someone to stand up for me. I needed to see that there was somebody out there that had a good heart and knew right from wrong. And I didn't realize that all along while I was, getting abused by these people, because by the way, bullying is abuse. I don't play with this shit. Bullying, even if it's a comment, if it's an ongoing abusive thing, if it's an ongoing bullying, it's fucking abuse. I don't care, it's not funny. It's not, it's not kids being kids. Everyone has a soul, and everyone knows, including the bully, including the narcissist, that they are doing something wrong. So I'm going to keep on saying that this bullying was abuse because that's exactly what it was. So I'm not trying to say that bullying is equivalent to, physical or emotional harassment if this is something that you went through, but this was my abuse that I had to endure. So, take it for what it is. But anyway, totally lost my train of thought. So, yeah, so basically while I was going through this growing up, it was just all I ever wanted was just someone to stick up for me. I just wanted someone to stand up to the bullies. And looking back at it now, I should have just been my own coach. I should have just been my own hero. But I wasn't. And I don't know what held me back. I don't know why I just didn't stick up for myself. I have no clue. Don't get me wrong. There were points where I was bullied by my classmates and it got so bad that I pushed back. There were points where I had to. And it felt really good. But then because I pushed back, because I defended myself, I got in trouble for it. And I shouldn't have. I think that, bullying, it just breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart that there are people out there at that young of an age, when we are still so young, where we still have so much life left to learn, that think that bullying another human being is acceptable behavior. What is living inside your soul that thinks that you have the right to belittle somebody else, to push around somebody else? What is wrong with you? That's to the point, I have grown so much from my experiences, and I have healed my experiences, that I come to terms with the people that treated me like this. But I'm at a point where I can sit here and I can look at the people that treated me so unfairly and with such hate, and I look at them and I have to question, what is inside your heart that makes you think, that makes you want to treat people like this? What is so wrong with your life that you think that this behavior is acceptable? To push somebody around that never did anything to you, that is innocent. And I am at a point in my life, guys, I subconsciously blocked out all this shit for 14 years. No joke. If we were to talk 2 weeks ago about how my childhood was and how I grew up, I would have said, oh, it was normal, whatever. I was a normal kid, went to school, blah, blah, blah. Hell to the fuck no. My adolescence was fucked up. And like I said, this has nothing to do with my parents or my family. This has nothing to do with, the choices I made. This is how I was treated in society. This is how I was treated by my peers, my classmates, people around my age. And I definitely grew from it, but the abuse was so bad. I mean, guys, I could tell you stories. I can tell you stories. I like some of the stuff I can't even get over, and I just subconsciously blocked it out for so many years because it still hurt. It still hurt that I went through it. It still hurt that I didn't heal from all these traumas. And, there were points, even at 17 years old, there were points where there were girls in my grade that asked a guy, no joke. I'm still friends with this person, by the way, and he can vouch for this because he was actually the best man at my wedding. So we had a mutual friend, and this girl was so intimidated by me and hated me so much that she asked this guy to drive me home from school, say that he would drive me home from school, but not drive me home, bring me to a dead-end road so she can jump me. Like, straight up. I do not live in the Bronx. I don't live in Queens. This is not, this is not the area that I grew up in. I grew up in like a neighborhood type setting. This was not, a hardcore place. And, these people, I just feel sorry for them now. I just feel sorry for all the people that had to think that, they were worthy of, bullying someone made themselves strong or made them worthy, because it's just not the case. It just is not the case. I mean, let me tell you another story. So in 8th grade, yes, that was in 8th grade, I sat down to the cafeteria by myself because I had no friends. Nobody would sit with me. And I sat all the way in the corner. One of the bullies came up, said that I looked at her. I gave her a dirty look, and she said, in 8th grade, this is 8th grade, guys, lunch aids are all around. She comes up and says that she was going to rip my eyes out because I looked at her funny. This is scary. This is scary. And I'm not saying this because I want people to feel sorry for me. I'm not saying this because, I want a pat on the back. I'm saying this because, unfortunately, this behavior is still alive. This behavior is worse than ever before. And it breaks my heart that there are children and teenagers, and even, you don't even have to be teenagers. You can be a person that are still being bullied. It breaks my freaking heart. Like, I can't even, like I said, I've healed. It took me a couple of days to really process this because I blocked it out for so long, but those days were brutal. Those days were a lot of shadow work, a lot of tears, a lot of things coming to the surface for me. But at the end of the day, I can sit here and I can tell you that I am fully healed and I am better than before. And like I said, I think this is my driving force. It's not I think, this is my driving force. My driving force is that I don't want anybody to not think that there isn't someone in their corner. I just don't. Because you can feel lonely as fuck and you can feel like there is no end in sight, and there is. And I want to be that for somebody. I want, whether it's, the stress of building a business, or it's just life just, taking you by the balls and just, treating you like it's bitch. We all need somebody. We all need someone to be there. We all need someone in our corner. And when we're not strong enough to be there for ourselves, when fear has allowed us to, not see the light at the end of the tunnel, we need that person to pull us the fuck out of it. We need that, and that's what I want to be for people. That's my driving force. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And like I said, I was so afraid when all of this came up for me. Guys, no joke, I was like ugly crying for 2 days because, one memory would come up and I would, sit through it and kind of heal it. And then all of a sudden another thing came up. And then another thing came up. And then another thing came up. And it was like 2 days of like basically the torture, the emotional torture that I felt through my adolescence. And there was a time where I was like, I don't think I can talk about this. I don't think that I can not cry talking about this. And yet here I am. And there hasn't been any tears. There hasn't been any breakdowns. We are almost 25 minutes in and I have not shed one tear. And I feel like for me, I cry at everything. First off, empath problems here. I cry. I don't think you guys understand. Like, I will cry about anything. Like, I put on Tony Robbins' I Am Not Your Guru on Netflix last week. No joke. Within the first 5 minutes when he had a intervention with somebody, I was bawling. I was a bawling mess. You know, I can't. That's just who I am. And for me to sit here and talk to you guys about all of this without one tear, I'm impressing myself, honestly. I really am. And I want you guys to impress yourselves. I want my clients to look back and be like, holy shit, I did that. I want them to be proud of themselves because, guys, I am sitting here. I am not cocky by any means, but I am so fucking proud of myself that I healed from this, that I grew from this, and that I use it. This is a part of me, and this was the part of me that I hid for so many years. I didn't talk about it, you know, even to my husband. Like, this was something that I just didn't talk about. I just didn't. I blocked it out. I never spoke about it to even my closest friends because this is something that I don't even think I comprehended the level of abuse that I endured from my peers. And it just really breaks my heart that this is still a problem and it's still going on. I mean, just last month, a girl from my neighboring town committed suicide because of online bullying. And when is it going to stop? Like, when is it going to stop? And, you know, here's another thing, is that I don't deal with bullying, period. I can talk to you and we can, you know, have a mature conversation about our different viewpoints, and I can totally do that. But bullying in any way, shape, or form, for no reason at all, I don't put up with, period. I mean, there have been things in my personal life as a grown-ass woman, guys, as a grown-ass woman, 2 years ago, I had to cut people out because I realized that I was friends with a bully that would just carelessly and heartlessly do mean things to somebody. And I can't do it. I just have like a zero tolerance policy for it. I don't care who you are, what you do. Like I said, there's defending yourself, and I am all for defending yourself and speaking your truth. But to bully someone that has never done anything to you, that is innocent, and you think that you have the right to push someone around and talk shit about them and make them feel horrible about themselves, that I don't put up with. I don't put up with that. And I do feel like maybe like this is why I had such a problem going live, right? I still have yet gone live on my Facebook, my own personal page, because I don't know. It's really intimidating, but that's besides the point. So guys, this is my why. This is me, you know, and I didn't realize what a huge part this played for me, and until I actually sat and I did the work and I went into my shadow self and I felt the emotions that I blocked out for 14 years, even if not longer. And like I said, I'm just like, I can't believe I'm not crying. I can't believe I'm not crying because, you know, I'm sure that people listening if you've been bullied, because I'm sure that there are people that have endured this kind of thing, you still get upset when you bring up instances that caused pain within you, right? You still shed tears. And I thought I was going to cry. Like, no joke. I was like, I took a deep ass breath. I lit my throat chakra candle, and I had to say a prayer before coming on, because looking back at it, it was extremely traumatic. It was brutal. And yet here I am. Here I am talking about, my vulnerability to you guys, and speaking my truth and telling you that it got better, that I got better, that I got stronger, I got wiser, I leveled up. And that is what you have to do with the pain that you endure. That's what you have to do. You can't use it as an excuse. You can't use abusive relationships as an excuse. You can't use the things that happened to you in your childhood to diminish you as a soul. You have to use it, and you have to bring it into you, and you have to turn it into strength. You need to learn from it and use it as a badge of honor, because I could sit here for the rest of my life and hold on to this. Hold on to the bullying that I endured for 5 years. And I could be a victim of it. Or I can rise above it, and I can tell my story, and I can use it as my why. The choice is yours. So guys, I hope you choose wisely, and I hope that whatever you have ever went through, whether it's anything whatsoever that wasn't positive, please heal from it. Take the time to heal from it, and take the experience and use it to gain more strength, to gain more clarity, and to just level up and be the best fucking version of yourself. Guys, it's been real. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And like I said, I can't believe I'm not crying. I can't believe I'm not crying. Wow. I'm giving myself a pat on the back. But guys, it's been real, and thank you. And I will see you guys next week.